Okay, what's happening, guys? It's Arcade Antics here, sometimes known as Antics. And this is my tutorial for Makoto, and it's not necessarily like your standard tutorial that you might get, like going over normals and stuff like that. This tutorial is how to play Makoto, especially in Ultra and Street Fighter 4. I'll go on record and saying she's not as good as she has been in previous versions, and it's not necessarily because of the buffs and the changes that were made to Makoto. It's because of the changes that were made to other characters that made them better, safer normals, safer specials. So her punish opportunities are not nearly as good as they used to be, which kind of sucks for her, but there are some things that she can do to kind of get around it. Delayed wake up is one of the things that they added that helps her on the defensive side, but also kind of is a double-edged sword because it's not as good as for her on the offensive. So I'm going to break this up into a few different parts. I know a lot of Makoto players wonder like where to start, what to learn first. And let's start with movement. Now, Makoto's walk speed is very, very slow, which a lot of people know. I don't particularly like her walk speed and trying to use it in footsies. I do like it sometimes in, obviously in the mix-up scenarios, but also in just getting slightly different spacing in certain matchups, which I'll go over in another video. So her options obviously are dash. Her dash is really good. Backdash is okay. Even though it goes very far, it has a lot of frames of recovery, so I wouldn't recommend using it all the time, especially on wake up. A lot of Makoto players like to use it as a safety net, and it's not really as good as people think because it can be OS'd really, really easily, and it can be chased down pretty easily as well. So ideally, you want to be moving around with her dash. Now, obviously, full screen is good to dash in and almost get into her optimal space to play footsies. So if you're full screen, I mean, there's not much they can do to punch that. From here, I wouldn't recommend a dash just because it's too reactable. If your opponent is paying attention or halfway decent at the game, they'll be able to react to it and punish it. So honestly, what you want to do is if you're full screen and you dash, about this spacing, I would use some of her command normals to kind of space yourself out. So she's got, for medium punch is good, and now you're in what I call her optimal range to play footsies and get in. So that's one dash, forward medium punch puts you right there. She's also got, let's see here, forward light kick. I feel like forward light kick is very good, puts you in that optimal range after one dash from full screen. She's also got forward medium kick, which I don't like necessarily in the footsies department, but it is very good for option selecting and chasing down. So that's there also. Forward hard kick is so-so. I wouldn't recommend using it to get in. I think it's very good for her corpse hops and some setups after a Hayate, EX Hayate, which I'll show you guys later. But other than that, I'd say your best two normals to move her forward medium punch, forward light kick. So I mentioned earlier being in her optimal range. This is optimal for this specific reason. So she's got good normals to keep opponents out, but to also check her spacing. I like to use forward hard punch because forward hard punch will hit from that range. But also if you step back just a little bit and it whips, a lot of people will actually walk into it because it's active for so doggone long. So it's really good for that. Let's see what else that we have. Also at that space, it's really good to poke with her crouching medium punch because you can whiff punish a lot. And this is also a range where you could react to fireballs. I'm just using Ryu as the test dummy. This is not necessarily a tutorial on how to fight Ryu or anything character specific, but it is very good poke and it is a very good counter poke to whiff punish. She's also got stand strong, but at this range it's not really going to be effective besides anything to anti-air. So that's going to be good to use there. But I do like I said, I do like using forward hard punch. I mean, if you want to get a solid damage and hits, you can go for the continuation. But it is negative on hit and it is negative on block also. So usually I play a very mix-up heavy Makoto. I only like to hit with one, because at this space, let's see here, can I get it? Oh, okay, thought it worked, not necessarily there. But at that space, you can kind of see how your opponent reacts and react to it. So if they like to backdash, you can dash forward. You know, if they like to neutral jump, crouching hard kick. If they like to forward jump, crouching medium kick. Things like that. So these are just really good movement options in her neutral. Oh, one thing I forgot. Jumping. Usually in this game, jumping is not really recommended for her. And I'm not using it in the traditional sense. What I'm using it in is sometimes to adjust your spacing. So, you know, if I'm out of range for my opponent to really do anything, and I want to get closer without committing to a dash, jumping is always a good option too. Not necessarily from that range, but you know, you get what I'm saying. You can use it sometimes as a movement option to counteract for her slow walk speed. So yeah, that's pretty much it for movement. Let's see, what do I cover in my next video? I will cover, let's see here, covered a little bit of footsies and spacing. Okay, I'll cover her general game plan. That'll be the next one, so stay tuned for that.